It is tired, it is crispy, there are bugs, but it's okay. I might have some plants coming. So I need to make space, I need to clear this out and get ready for fall. Hi, welcome back. I'm home now in LA after traveling to Michigan with Proven Winners. I almost missed my flight last night. I had to run from one gate to the next, but I made it. Except I got home really late and was way too tired to go check out my garden. So now let's do the walk together. There's so much I have to get done. It is the end of summer, but here in Southern California, Zone 10B, we garden year round, and it's one of those periods of transition. So some plants will be done, some plants we might be able to even succession sow or actually plan our fall plantings. In this video, we're gonna just touch upon a couple spots and things that I need to work on, and I'd love to know what you're doing in your garden too. So first off, let me back this up. This is a Kiss Me Kate rose from Star Roses, and we had a heat wave and this rose got really, really happy. So I need to actually come in here and help train it better up on this arbor. One of my biggest challenges here in Zone 10B is powdery mildew, because I am actually a coastal 10B. That means I'm in a weather window between 45 at the low and maybe 80 at the top majority of the time. So during the fall, we'll have a couple warm days, and in the winter, we don't really dip below 40 very often. I know that might upset some of you who actually have true frost. I don't experience true frost. We might have one cold winter and it might be like a day, no more than 2 days in a row, but I would never call it actually true frost. So no frost date. That might sound great to you. However, that also means no rest for my plants and also no vernalization. So now I'm gonna show you what's going on this side. This is probably the most established. I had started working on it and life happens, so it's a little rugged right now. Okay, so right here, these hydrangeas are looking really great. The vintagey color right here is so pretty, and I'm actually getting a lot of growth as well. So this is Seaside Serenade. Seaside Serenade Newport. Over here I have another one that's a different variety. And then right behind it, I planted some blueberries because they require acidic soil as well, and they actually do really well next to each other. And if you deal with pests and critters, I've had blueberries here, and we've had skunks, possums, the like, and I still have blueberries. So I do think by planting it in my landscape, it's kind of hidden from the pests. So over here, when I'm inspecting my rose, I can tell it has powdery mildew on it. It's got a few things going on. So what I like to do, let me get my dog out. Come on. Kira doesn't like it when I'm out here and she doesn't get to come out. So anyway, back to this. The first step that I recommend in my garden and what I do for my clients is assess, and we typically remove before we treat, because sometimes if a leaf is damaged or crispy, it's not coming back. I know sometimes you think it might revive, that leaf is done. So for example, for this rose, I'm probably gonna hose it down first to wash off any of the disease or dust. Let me back up. So here in Southern California, we don't get a lot of rain. Naturally, the rains would wash off a lot of these things for us if I lived in a different area, but because we don't get real rain very often, I sometimes simulate that with the hose. So I will just drench it, wash off the plant, get it really clean, and I might actually go in here and take off some of the damaged leaves. Like this guy looks real bad. I can tell there's scale on it. I can tell, yeah. So that there was scale on it, there's powdery mildew, and it looked really dusty, and there's a couple other things going on. But assess, clean it up, and then I might start to take off some of the leaves so it can encourage new growth. Now, if you're in a different area, that might not work for you, because the moment you take off the bad leaves, sometimes the plant will generate new leaves. And if you're in an area that experiences an early frost state, that could damage the plant some more versus letting it just keep going, prune it back, or letting it die back. So anyway, back here, I have a couple rose trees, and I've just planted them and let them go, because my main goal for this season with these trees is to let them develop better roots. So I'm not as concerned about how many flowers I'm getting, all of that stuff, which also means I'm not giving them a bloom formula, because I want them to concentrate on roots. These were planted, I want to say a few months ago, earlier in, I would say, summer. So here we can plant roses year round. Obviously the best time is in the fall and the winter. However, here you can do it, especially for me, because my summers don't really peak over 80 very often. It's possible. So this one is apricot candy. This is Eve Piaget. And then I think this one is Celestial Night. You can see here, it needs to be cut deadheaded. And so I'll actually cut it down further, because I'm gonna reshape as I cut. I want this to be a really nice compact tree. And you can see right here, if you come down this way, there is a lot of this viney stuff. Let me bring you closer. So you can see better on this side, right here. This entire tower is leaning. I actually had got it from Hobby Lobby and placed it down, and now these vines are taking over. It's grown on top of my roses. I have roses down below, but it's a cucamelon. I don't know if you've ever had them. They're like sour cucumbers. You can do them pickled. I prefer a Persian cucumber, but these are good too. So this is a volunteer plant. So that little cucamelon I showed you, that happened last season. I had a cucamelon here, actually it might have been 2 years ago, and every year I get another plant. So this all needs to, I could leave it alone, and then I would get lots of cucamelons. They like it, the weather hot. So we had a heat spell this week. My friend Robbie always laughs because he frequently lives with weeks of 100-degree weather. So my heat wave is actually 80 plus, because I'm by the beach. And if I'm in the 80s, inland it gets to 90s and 100. So anyway, just to clarify the kind of weather that I grow in. So I actually have a rose underneath all of this, and I should probably just tame this cucamelon, but I want to be careful, because as I grab like this, I might accidentally grab a rose, and that would really hurt. So you can see. And then stuff like this, I can just give to my chickens. They love the greenery, and it's good for them. So, yeah, and then over here, I have a couple more rose trees. I just really like having height. If you can tell, this is the width of my front yard. That's it. That's the fence, that's the sidewalk, and then this is the side of my house. So it's not a very wide space. And then I'll show you in the front. I have a lot of people ask me, Chai-Ming, you have such a big space, and it's not true. And let's see, I'll put you right here. So this is one edge of the house, that's the other edge of the house. We're gonna walk this way, so you can see right here. Rose tree, this is the Queen of Elegance that is overrun by cucamelons. I teach at the local elementary schools, so they actually really enjoy cucamelon. And so I try to grow it for them. I'll bring in a bunch and everybody gets to try it. So I moved in 2019 and this was all front lawn. Everybody knows what happened in 2020. We weren't allowed to do very much other than take walks and garden. So that's what I did. And I scrapped the front lawn. We put the blue flagstone down, and I built raised beds throughout the entire front yard. This is version 2 of it, and I never took it out. I have had goals to take it out for the last 2 years, but then the season warms up and then I want to plant something. So I put raised beds in the front, and I wanted to take this side out. I've already taken that side to put the roses in, but in this side I want to take them out, but I have always lagged because I needed to film it, because if I don't film it, how do I even talk about it? And then the weather would warm up, or there's plants that need to be planted. Then I'd plant in it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a cycle of I'm not taking them out because I need to plant plants. Well, it's got all the drip line and everything needed, but I didn't plant it this year. I was gonna take it out, then life happens and I didn't. So this fall, especially after all of my trips, in February I went to Northwest Flower Garden Show. You can see the video of the whole entire convention. Then I went to Bailey's Nursery in June. We went to their growing facilities and tissue culture facilities in Oregon. Then in July, I went to Ball for the 3rd time and got to see all the new releases and all their plants. I have some of them here. And I just got back from visiting Garden Crossings, Walter's Gardens, and Spring Meadows with proven winners. Let me show you the current state of this side. It's a little crazy because here is a giant pumpkin plant. I don't know if you can see. The plant is centered over there, and it has grown that way and has grown that way. And I've got pumpkins in there. They're not super big, but the plant is massive. And I actually don't know, I don't remember what variety. I don't know, I have to check and see if I can find the tag, if this is the ball variety that they sent me. But this thing has taken over this entire space. This is over, I think it's probably like 12 feet that direction and 12 feet this direction from the center of the plant. And yeah, it's big. So over here, I have a wine barrel, and this is a star rose right there. And I need to deadhead this rose. I think I have 2 roses right here. I have proven winners petunias along the edge of the wine barrel, and let me go on the inside and then you can see better. Okay, so I was standing on that side and now we're on the inside. And a lot of people say, Chiming, how do you fit everything in there? And I just shove it all in. So here, this is the pumpkin plant. And I have some dahlias in here that kind of just grew on their own. So these dahlias actually weren't even planted. I dug them out and the tuber just sat on the soil and it sprouted, it's blooming. I'm really good at stress testing my plants, if you know what I mean. Then along this back wall, right here, this tomato is one of my favorite tomatoes ever. It's called Sun Dipper. If you ever see it, get it, because it is sweet. It is an oblong shape. I'm trying to see if there's no ripe ones on it right now for me to show you. I did have caterpillar pressure, so it looks a little scraggly, and I don't use very much interventions in my garden because I do have a lot of pollinators. While neem oil I personally don't like the smell or taste of neem oil on my food crop. I don't use it. And I have a lot of praying mantis. I have ladybugs and lacewings who've made my garden home, and they're maintaining a lot of the pests. Now, when there are a lot of caterpillars, they don't get all of them. And it does get eaten like this. I also have a video of that, but I tend to try to handpick them and then feed them to my chickens. Sometimes I'll give them to a friend who has a bearded dragon. They love snacking on the hornworms. So that's kind of how I manage the pests in my garden. Now, while I was gone, the drip irrigation did go off and continue watering everything. So most things that were on drip look pretty good. I have a rose walkway that has been in the works for a while, but I needed time to build the actual bed that the roses are going to go in. I'm going with a 12-inch wide, maybe 18. I might go 18 inches along this gray wall here. I'll bring you closer. So if we step down here, this is the pumpkin plant right here. The growing tip is all the way down here, and it could probably make it all the way down the walkway, but we'll see. So as I was saying, I have this arch. I have a Testa Uberville that I got for $20 from Otto's and Sons, and very excited about having her pruned back and growing. Now my roses down here are not on drip irrigation yet, so that needs to happen. But at first I need to build a bed, and honestly, I kind of just stopped because I needed to decide what dimensions. Now I think for my roses, I would want, because this is on top of concrete, I want more depth for their roots. And I'm probably gonna go like a 30-inch tall and 18 inches wide and just go down maybe 8 feet. So it's a really tall and slim raised bed, and plant my roses down the row that way and train them to go across. Oh, and here's a little friend. I don't know if you can see, I think it's a her, I think right there. So like I said, I have a lot of little friends here that help me manage my garden, and I'll put that one, here you go, onto the fence, so right there. But anyway, back here, I have quite a few roses. Most of these, I wouldn't say if not all, yeah, this is all my David Austins are here. What's nice about this, and I'll show you, bring you around, this is just a side yard, and most people don't use your side yard. I wasn't using it. I have a bunch of storage stuff that actually just needs to get cleaned up. But in this spot, you can see, you can put roses here. So the goal is, I don't know if you can see where you are standing, but there is a cattle panel arch that I'm putting in, that I've put in right there. And I will put the bed right along here, and my roses will go up against this lovely gray cinder block wall that we painted. And this side is just holding because I have too many plants, and this will all get cleared out, so we still have clearance from the wall, and then the roses will just be right here. So that needs to happen. Let's go look at the backyard. This season, I decided I wanted to show what you can do in a really, really small space. Now, this side gets really hot because it's on concrete and the beds aren't very tall. You can see the whole build in one of my other videos, but here I have a really big tomatillo plant, and it's actually a little bit sunburnt here because it's so hot. This is the south facing side of my house, and it gets full sun. And even if you water properly, if it's too sunny, it's still gonna get a little sunburnt. Then here I have tomatoes, I have eggplants in the front, and again, we deal with powdery mildew. So they're a little bit tired, a little bit crispy, and all of this I need to come in and trim back. The tops are looking really good up here and really healthy still. It's just down below, I'm gonna clear it out. And right here, let me bring you closer. Right here, I have a really nice tomato I'm gonna harvest right now. I didn't bring any tools with me. Just coming out to look at it. Ah! Oh no, I dropped it. Here. This is my tomato. Really nice, tasty tomato. And here's another one. So I believe this one, so these still need to color up a little bit, but I believe these are one of the brandy wines. They're larger, great for slicing, for sandwiches. What we like to do is a Taiwanese dish. It's tomatoes and eggs. So I don't think I ever posted the video, but I've definitely cooked it and recorded it and never posted. So my husband makes a better one than me, and he actually really enjoys, he doesn't like tomatoes, but he likes it like that. I'm gonna put these over here. This has been a dumping area of all my storage after Pasadena Showcase House and installs. I would just unload my cart and leave it here, and it just kind of grew roots because I lost steam. So anyway, here is eggplant. Eggplant is one of those that's really hard for me to grow because I don't get the hot temperatures. However, we've had that this week and it's starting to flower, and I have one, but there is some pest damage on it down here. Oh, there's another tomato. This one actually fell off the vine and is fine. This is not brandy wine, this is a different one. And I have a few others that I'll probably harvest. Oh, and then on the tomatillos, let me bring you closer. So down here, inside here, right here, they start to look like this, and they're nice and papery and dry, and you can see this one actually got eaten. So that's not so cute. It might actually have burst. But this one's not very good. We won't be eating this. But there are other ones. I think it burst. But there are some other ones in here. Here we go. Ooh, this one's a good one. When I just picked it off, it fell off. It's nice. It looks like a green tomato, but it's a tomatillo. And we're actually gonna harvest these and make a green salsa to have with tacos for this weekend. I don't really like zucchini, but I had a plant and I grew it. So right here is my zucchini plant. It is suffering from powdery mildew. This is just what happens in my zone. Again, I'm not using anything systemic. I'm not spraying anything on my plants. And this is kind of what happens. So I also went out of town and now have a giant baseball bat. So my kids actually play baseball here, so they would really love this, but nice little baseball bat. And there's actually a couple. This actually might still be good enough to make soup, but I'll put this here on my card. But there's actually a couple more in here that we'll take out right here and right here. So 2 more. That here, and then up here is my loofah, and let me flip this around so you can see it better. Right up there, there's some loofah in that section right there, and that round one is actually a watermelon, if you can see that. So it'll be interesting to see how this vine grows because there are no supports up there. It's literally just hugging the stucco of my house. And that's how strong this vine is. And you can see I have a ton. So 1, 2, 3, this one didn't take, 4, 5. That's just this section. And then down below, there's another one right there. And then over here, there's 3 hanging out together. There's actually a 4th underneath. Now these are loofah, and you can eat them or you can let them dry out and become a sponge. So those are another 3 right there. Here's another young one. So this one's a little bit This one's still a little bit hard, so it's not quite ready for eating. But something of this side, there's a lot of varieties. This one is nice and soft. This actually might be good to eat. And, oh, look, there's even another small one down here. There's this one, and then look, there's one more back here too. So this one you can see, it's starting to change color. I'm actually going to leave those on there. So I like to show the kids the different plants when I teach them at school. And loofah is a great one to teach, from seed to eating to all the different things that you can do with the one plant. Now, let's go to the backyard. So if you've seen some of my other videos, I do have a greenhouse back here. It's from BC Greenhouses. It's the Parkside. I believe it's 8 by 10. This is all glass. And right here, this is the frugal bed that I made with spare parts that I had. And I have this issue with perfectionism, and I'm trying to work past it. I was talking to my new friend, Morgan, caffeine and chlorophyll at the Proven Winners media event. And we were talking about how we want to show up on our channels and fighting perfectionism and editing and all of those things. So that was a really great conversation. I had built the bed, I filled it. All I needed to do was to finish and plant. But because I got into this analysis paralysis of what I want to put there, I kind of just stopped. And then again, life happens. I go on trips, I'm going away, my kids are starting school, so things got really busy. But now school started, trips are over, there might be one more. It's fine now. So over here, I have a peach tree that it's in a pot down here, you can see, and it needs to be fed, it needs to be, put to bed. We won't get very much chill, so that's one of the challenges. And then over here, this is my rose corner that I have too many roses, and because my whole entire backyard is almost all concrete, I don't have places to plant it. And in order to remove the concrete, I made a decision, I'm not doing it, because it would cost maybe $20,000 or something to break up the concrete, take it out, and also dispose of it. That's what's actually the most expensive spot. Now back here where my chickens are, we actually removed that concrete pad back there, and it was only, I want to say, like a 10-foot by 9-foot, and that cost me $9,000. So, but turned out my concrete was about this deep, and it was a lot of money. I did think about it, but I am not getting steel-toed shoes and a whatever you call that thing to break up the concrete and to remove it. Not doing it. I am a DIYer, but there's a line I won't cross, and that's one of them. So anyway, here I have a bunch of roses. They weren't looking so good, so I actually stripped a lot of the leaves. I watered them, and I do need to feed them. And then I have some dahlias I never planted, and they're in pots. And then, yeah, so I also have some petunias back there. And now that I'm back from these trips, I'm ready to just start getting really planting and put things away. My towers, I keep starting. These are the lettuce grows. They are soilless, and I always clean them and start them, and I lose steam by the time I need to plant the seeds or the seedlings in there. So that's another goal on the list, and hopefully you keep me honest and keep me going, because I just lose steam because there's so much to do. But with that said, if I actually just got it going, maintenance is easy. It's just that when you need to start a new workout or a routine, that's the hard part. So my chickens are squawking. They want water, so I need to give them water. But back here, I have a lot of fruit trees. If you can't tell, everything needs a little TLC. So back there, I've got grapes above my chickens. Right here, I've got a Eureka lemon tree. Right here, I have an avocado tree. It is a holiday avocado, and I keep saying I'm gonna rip it out or graft on it because it's taking forever to produce. But every time I threaten to cut the tree down, it starts doing something right. So I might have to keep that guy. Anyway, back here, I have a lime tree. I have a volunteer loquat here. I have a fig. Okay, hold on, let me finish. And then over here, I have a fig tree, and then we'll have to go into the back. It's pretty toasty. Okay, so I have a panache fig right here. It is potted. I also have powdery trees that are planted 3-in-1 inside a big pot. And I think this is the year that I've tried the fruit. I like it, so I will commit to putting it into the ground. Because from the fence line to the concrete pad that is back here, there might be about 6 to 8 feet, and that's it. So it's really just enough to put one row of trees. So this is the Dave Wilson method of planting 3 trees in 1 hole. So I have three powdery trees all in one because they do need to cross-pollinate, and the fruit is delicious. You can't really readily buy them, and that's kind of how I decide what I'm gonna grow. And right here, this is the panache fig, and you can see it's not quite ready, but it's a green and yellow striped tiger fig. Now, also back here, I have a nectarine tree that is called Snow Queen. That one's delicious. I have a failed cherry tree that's gonna get tossed, and I need to clean up this back section of the garden because I have dragon fruit, but this tower that I created actually fell. And funny enough, the plant is doing better on its side, maybe because it's not getting full sun like it would up against the wall. And it's looking, so these plants have been growing since for the last 5 years. And you know, it's looking a little bit tired. It is a little bit sunburnt, and I would like to do this section in a way that is a little bit more organized, easier to reach, and just cleaned up a little bit tidier. Because I've found that the tidier it is, the easier it is to manage, then it's not as big of a chore to maintain. I've just waited and waited and waited, and now I'm in this pickle. Shh. Okay, and then here, this plant right here is actually a volunteer. My neighbors had a big giant hedge back here, and it dropped seeds, and now I have these plants. I never came back here and pulled it. I was like, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. Now it's later, and I actually have to chop it because the trunk is like this. The trunk is about this thick. So anyway, let's see. I also have a guava tree and a wax apple tree back here. Those are 2 fruits that I really enjoy. We have Taiwanese varieties, and that's my background if you didn't know that already. I was born in Taiwan and came to the US when I was 3. And then over here is a really big loquat tree. It actually started to grow sideways, so I'm gonna cut that growing tip, and the side branch actually is the upright, and then this right here is the top of the tree. So I'm actually gonna chop that so we have more space. Then on this side is right here. It's a little bit wild back here. All these berries right here, all these berries. My blackberry vine, but it goes all the way to the wall. So this is probably easily a 10-foot branch of, look at that. This is gonna be really delicious. This one keeps doing flush after flush after flush. I have 2 raised beds here that are the dividing line between my garden space and the backyard space. But now I have so many plants, I feel like I need to open it up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to take this guy out so it flows a little bit better and put containers out here, and so it'll just look so much better once I take that one out. I think I'm still gonna keep that one there for now. Then, yeah, there's just so much to be done, but that is most of it for now. I have an entire wall of dragon fruit back here that needs to get cleaned up. All of this is dragon fruit all the way down the line. In 2020, I went down a deep rabbit hole of collecting all the different varieties, but now all the names are rubbed off of the plant, so I don't know which varieties which, what it requires in terms of pollination. In a nutshell, dragon fruit, in order to set fruit, you need to either, it needs to be self-pollinating, cross-pollinating, and some are compatible with others, yada, yada, yada. I got really good at that, and then I got over it. So I have to figure out what to do with those plants. But I have lots of roses, lots of hydrangeas, lots of work to get done. Let me know if you have any questions of all the things I've shown you. Obviously back here, this is a hot mess that needs to get cleaned up. I never hung my chandelier that I had at the Pasadena Showcase house, and I would like to get my greenhouse up and running again in a nice and tidy manner. I started clearing it out, I was resetting it, and then I had some trips. And I'm trying to redo this entire patio space right here because I want us to enjoy it in the fall, come out and sit, maybe get like a little dining set out here because this is where I have my Blackstone. I cook, and it would be really nice to be able to cook and then just eat here instead of having to schlep everything inside. I'm thinking of setting up some type of table or bar to set things out here while I cook. It does have side tables, but I feel like it's not enough. And then, sorry, little snack break. So good. I have a video on blackberries too, so you can go see that one. But this one is Primark Freedom. It's thornless, it's favorite, I'll always grow it. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful so you can see what a late summer garden can look like. It is tired, it is crispy, there are bugs, but it's okay. I clearly have a lot of projects ahead of me, so if there was anything that looked interesting and you want more information, please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so I can see you in the next video.